Yes, you read that title right. Based on everything we know as of this moment, it is impossible to earn tier 5 drops from the new Desert Perpetual Raid. And the reason why is that it has everything to do with the new feat system, the epic raid arriving next update, and the sheer amount of effort required to unlock high tier drops from Desert Perpetual. We'll be explaining all of these systems in depth, so if you don't understand anything about the feat system, don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll have a complete roadmap on how to earn the highest tiers of gear from the new content. Now, what are feats? The Edge of Fate update introduced difficulty scaling inside of Destiny 2. This is a new system present across all Portal activities that allows the players to customize in-game modifiers, tuning both content difficulty and rewards. To put it simply, the harder you make the content, the better the rewards you'll receive. Now, these rewards are scaled from tier 1 to tier 5, with 5 being the absolute best, essentially the pinnacle gear in Destiny. However, unlike other activities, Bungie wants raids and dungeon modifiers to be more specialized to match each unique in-game experience. Introducing Feats. Raid Feats offer the same modifier-based difficulty scaling as Portal content, but they can only exist to make the content harder. Now, to apply Feats to a raid, you simply just select the raid and then hit the Customize button just above the launch button, and each feat you apply will add a custom modifier to the raid, and it'll increase the tier of your potential rewards. Now, before we start, you may notice that you only have the ability to apply 1 or 2 feats. This is because to unlock more available feat slots, you need to complete raid runs with all of your current feat slots filled. Doing so will unlock an additional feat slot and so on. So for example, completing a raid with 3 feats being applied will then unlock the ability to apply a 4th feat. However, get this, if you complete the raid in a fire team with someone who has access to a larger number of feats and all of them are applied, you will then skip the lower feat limits and have the ability to apply the same number of feats plus the additional future run. Now, with all of that out of the way, what are the Desert Perpetual Raid feats? Let's start with token limit. Fewer revive tokens are available per encounter. Now, this feat reduces the amount of revives in the fire team, effectively reducing the amount of times that people can die. Then you have phase limits. Complete each encounter within a certain number of phases. This feat reduces the amount of damage phases until the boss enrages by 1. This means that you have to clear each boss encounter within 2 phases or you'll wipe. You got battalions, which state that additional powerful combatants will appear during encounters. This feat will start spawning Banes in encounters, which can add an extra layer of complexity. Now, our next feat is a bit more complicated. This one being called Encounter Challenges. Each encounter within the activity will have an additional enforced mechanical challenge. Now, this has replaced our weekly encounter challenge rotation and will turn on all encounter challenges for each encounter. So we have Agrios. The challenge is that no player can pick up a second Chronon until all 6 players have picked up 1 Chronon. Now, this applies the entire encounter duration, meaning before a player can pick up their 3rd Chronon, all 6 players have to have picked up 2. Next, we have Apoptis. The encounter challenge requires that the 4 players handling the 2 side Hydra rooms alternate in destroying the eyes on the shield. We have Latros, where each of the floating platform buffs must be activated by a different player. This means you need to send 3 players up the platforms as they are constructed. And then for the final boss here, each player deposits a Chronon into the hourglass. This will require everyone to rotate their jobs and do every role in the encounter. Now for the final feat, Cutthroat Combat. All combatants are tougher and more aggressive. Now this one is wild because a lot of people have commented here recently and said that they don't like that contest mode is only once a year. There's not enough time for them to become acclimated to this level of difficulty, but this effectively applies a contest-like mode difficulty to the entire raid. And according to Mossy Max, it sets you to minus 40 power. Now note, you'll notice that each feat has a plus 20 or 40 on their icons. These do not stack. The raid is already plus 20 combatant power with or without feats. The only one that matters is Cutthroats, which raises combatant power up to plus 40. Now I know many of you are probably wondering, what's the point of running these feats? Well, they directly affect your reward forecasts, which is found here. At base difficulty with no feats, the Desert Perpetual will only reward tier 1 gear. But as you apply feats, this forecast will increase, allowing you to reach higher tiers of armor and weapons. By applying 3 separate feats, your gear tier will advance from tier 1 drops to tier 2 drops. Now, feat number 4 and number 5 don't increase your confirmed tier drop, but instead can advance the tier upgrade chance. This means that drops will have a chance to drop at a higher tier. Now, with a 5 feat run, your drops are guaranteed guaranteed to be tier 2, with drops having a medium chance of being tier 3, but you can enhance this further. Located in the Desert Perpetual title, you can find a triumph named Combined Mastery. This triumph requires you to complete each encounter 5 times, as well as complete a full raid with 3 feats applied. Now, upon claiming this triumph, you'll receive a Desert Perpetual gear tier upgrade. This will permanently increase all drops by 1 tier. That's right, fellas. Permanently increases all drops by 1 tier. With our previous example, this means that running a 5 feet raid will result in confirmed tier 3s with a medium chance for tier 4 gear drops. Now, this isn't our only source of high tier drops. If you notice, when you interact with a chest in the raid, we have a section at the top named gear tier boosts. By completing these boosts, you can earn a one-time purchase of a high tier piece of gear. After purchase, you must complete the boost again to buy another piece of high tier gear. And you can see current tiering information by hovering over the engram. Now, it's important to note that to be able to purchase a high tier version of any gear, you must have obtained the drop naturally. These boosts include Triumph gear tier boosts earned from Combined Mastery, full clear boosts requiring a full clear of all encounters, and 3+ feat clear boosts, which requires clearing the raid with 3 or more feats active. Now, having all of these boosts active at the same time will then grant you access to a tier 4 piece of gear from the final chest. Now, with this in mind, at least at the time of this recording, the most efficient farm for this raid will be running full clears with 3 feats active while having Combined Mastery claims. Now, this will result in guaranteed tier 3 drops and a small chance at tier 4 drops. In the chest at the end of the raid, having a confirmed tier 4 purchase available. Now, the feats I'm recommending for this are token limit, phase limit, and either encounter challenges or battalions. In my opinion, token limit is easily dealt with as long as you don't die, and with Thunderlord, Outbreak, and hell, even Grand Overture being available now, you're going to be 2-phasing mini bosses anyways. It then just becomes a question of whether you want to deal with the extra mechanics or the extra banes. You could throw in the extra 4th and 5th feats for some higher tier 4 drop chances. Just keep in mind that will start to include contest level difficulty. Now, finally, as an extra bonus to running feats, they grant a slew of rewards in each encounter. Ascended shards, enhancement prisms, cores, and more can be earned by turning on different amounts of feats. Most notably, feats now appear to be the only way to earn spoils of conquest. When running the raid on normal, you no longer get spoils naturally for doing reclears, as there's no longer a weekly loot lockout. And because you can farm gear indefinitely, Bungie has tied spoils to raid feats. Now, for each encounter, you will earn 5 spoils per feat. This is per encounter, per feat, meaning if you run 3 raid feats, you'll be earning 15 spoils of conquest for each encounter cleared. Now, of course, this brings us to the elephant in the room. As we discussed, there's a lot you can do to raise your reward tier. However, despite this, it is currently not possible to earn tier 5 raid rewards. Claiming all your triumphs, obtaining all your boosts, and running a 5 feat raid will still result in you getting tier 4 gear at the highest. Now, if you take a look at the title page for Desert Perpetual, you'll see that we have a handful of hidden triumphs, and these are likely to be coming out with the epic raid, which will be in Ash and Iron. It's likely that during that time, we're either going to see another gear tier increase or some other interaction with the epic raid, which would then reward tier 5 gear. So guys, that is essentially how the reward structure works inside of this raid. It is unfortunate we can't get tier 5s, and it seems like this is the case across the game. Even right now, I'm trying to get to the point where I can get tier 4s and tier 5s just in the other parts of the game, but a lot of that is very much power driven, and it does seem like Bungie's trying to gatekeep us in some ways outside of the few dedicated static roles that we can get from Kepler. In the meantime, guys, we're really gonna have to just wait until September with Ash and Iron to start getting tier 5 drops from this raid, and I would love to know your thoughts on that. Some of you are probably just starting to dip a toe in the raid, so you're probably like, Cross, I don't even care about this yet, but I'm curious to know what you guys think either way. Now, if you are someone that's completely new to this raid and you're like, dude, I just want to know how to do it, let me just say Fallout has a wonderful guide. I'm gonna link his guide down below. It's such a good raid guide that really lays out all the encounters and mechanics very well, so feel free to go check his guide out. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.